Greetings, love magnets. Greetings, love icons. How is everyone doing this weekend? Well, this evening, rather. Let me know who's in the room as you come into the room. Please give a greeting so I know who's here with me so I can greet you with warm greetings of peace. For those who don't know, my name is Pangia North Star. I am an energetic healer, an energy reader. I use Reiki, sound therapy, intuitive readings, compassion key, oracle and tarot card readings, and many other methods to bring clarity, bring peace, bring progress for those who are reaching for or allowing, I should say, ascension at this time. Those who are um, desirous of ascension in these interesting times that we live in. You all, I'm here every Tuesday night. I am here talking about attracting love energy. That's the name of this segment, attracting love energy. Love energy is for the purpose of healing, is for the purpose of abundance, forgiveness, self-acceptance, acceptance of others, forgiveness of yourself and others. And love energy is the energy that brought us here. It's the energy that is sustaining us at every moment. Love energy is source energy. So that is why I am always sharing about love energy. And it's my favorite thing to talk about. But tonight, we're going to talk about, I feel like we're always talking about love energy, but we're going to come at it from a different angle. Tonight, we're going to talk about the energy of hurricane season, right? Hurricane season, which I like to call energetic reset season, right? Hurricane season is a season of energetic reset, okay? Hi, folk dancer. Hi, penguin lover. Greetings, all greetings to everyone in the room. Greetings, greetings, greetings. So glad you all could make it here tonight. We are going to be doing a visualization shortly. So, as we mentioned in the announcement, we are going to invite everyone to join us for an energetic reset tonight. And we are asking you to have some water nearby. Hopefully, you drink some water ahead of time just to help your body to be more receptive to healing and clearing frequencies. So, thank you all for greeting me and for joining us tonight. We are going to talk about the energy of hurricanes. Okay, the energy of hurricanes, which is very appropriate because we are in hurricane season. Okay, for here in the U.S. Right? So, greetings, Blue Lotus. Greetings to everyone in the room. The energy of hurricanes is very, it's multi-layered, right? Hurricanes, first of all, I want to acknowledge that so many people have had their lives uprooted at this time by actual physical hurricanes, right? They've had their lives rerouted, they've had their lives rearranged. Unfortunately, many lives have been lost at this time due to hurricanes. And this is something that we definitely want to be sensitive to. This is something that we definitely want to acknowledge, right? And as we said in the announcement for before tonight, that hurricanes bring a lot of destruction, they bring a lot of harm, and we want to be sensitive to that. We want to be, realistic about that. But we do not want to allow ourselves to only recognize that aspect of hurricanes. We do not want to get stuck there. Hurricanes also represent cleansing, they represent reset, they represent rearranging, reorganizing. And when this energy is in the air, it is important to recognize your ability to harness that energy for reorganization of your own life, right? The reorganization of the energy of your life. Hurricanes and other types of storms, such as tornadoes, for example, represent sweeping change, right? This hurricane season has been particularly brutal, which is not surprising considering the year that we've had. All right, 2024, especially here in the US, has been scandalous. Scandalous, right? As well as it is the year of our residential selection, as I like to call it. It is that year. There are so many things happening. There's so many different types of upheaval happening in the country. So many things coming to the surface, as things do rise to the surface in a storm, such as a hurricane, things that are buried or that at least were stabilized, right? And that were grounded. When the water rushes in, water causes things to float. Water causes things to surface that were previously stabilized, that were previously grounded, that previously may not have been visible, right? And such has been the many, many different scandals that have come out, the many different things that have been exposed over this year so far. And we're not done. We are not done, right? This last little bit of 2024 is going to be something else, right? So it's interesting. I'm hearing the wind pick up outside as I begin to discuss this. But hurricanes are a combination or a type of storm that culminates when the waters of the ocean are around 80 degrees, okay, are around 80 degrees, okay? And this is significant that it happens when the waters are warm, okay? Water represents emotion. Water represents emotion. It represents human emotion. It represents intuition, okay? So, one of the aspects of a storm, such as a hurricane, would be that emotions, this represents our emotions as humans, our emotions being stirred up, our emotions being aroused, being agitated, going from a state of being warm, right? When water becomes warm, it evaporates, right? And as we know, warm emotions or good emotions are rising emotions, right? Emotions represent energy, and energy has a vibration that goes, warming emotions represent rising vibrations. Rising vibrations, okay? So as our vibration rises here on planet Earth, which as we know, so many upgrades are happening, right? So for those who are empathic, those who are highly sensitive and intuitive, We're experiencing so many upgrades, so many um, things that are happening that are putting us in touch and in tune with our emotions. Many of us may be experiencing what seems like unstable emotions. If you're at a place where you're not yet like in control of your empathic abilities, you may be having um, these waves of emotion that sometimes it's difficult to determine what's yours and what's actually someone else's. If you're picking up on someone's emotions that are near and dear to you, yes, yes, Blue Lotus says, I feel it big time. Yes, yes. So sometimes we're picking up on emotions that is someone close to you, or it could just be very strong emotions from the collective consciousness, right? And if you think about what happens in a hurricane, if you look out, if you were to look outside, or think about instances where people's windows are blown, when doors are pushed open, people's belongings are floating. People's personal belongings are floating everywhere. People's personal belongings can be pushed or floated into your home, into your space, right? And when you're looking at debris, you don't know what belongs to who. It's not as if it's this neat package situation where the debris in your yard is your debris from your house. That's not how it works, right? So many times we are sensing, we are feeling, we are experiencing these waves of emotion that do not belong to us, right? And it's important that we are practicing grounding activities, grounding activities at this time in order to be able to sort out what's ours and what's somebody else's, right? What's our emotions and what's somebody else's emotions, and not allowing situations that come about to cause us to be overtaken by something that does not belong to us, right? So, that is one representation of activities that happen during a storm, such as a hurricane. Um, let's continue to another level of it. So, what begins to happen with the warm water is it evaporates and it rises, right? So, many of us are also experiencing new gifts. We're getting fresh downloads, we're getting upgrades of gifts that you may have already had. Okay, gifts that spiritual gifts is what I'm speaking of. So, people who are empathic, people who are clairvoyant, people who are clairaudient, people who are maybe just slightly sensitive, are becoming psychic, or becoming um, getting over into mediumship. Okay, I'm going from being psychic to psychic medium, right? Or the same gift you already had may express in new ways. Okay, and some of you may even be aware of your gifts, but feel some type of disturbance and think that here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I have experienced for myself as well. There was a time recently where I was like, "Ooh, I'm not feeling like really in tune with my gifts." But at that time, I wasn't. There was a period of weeks where I wasn't like using my gifts regularly, like I normally would, right? So then the next time I gave a reading, it was like, whoa, some things came through that surpass what I normally would be able to pick up on. Okay. So I'm saying that to say that even if you're in a period of time where you feel like maybe I'm not in touch with my gifts right now, or if you are like feeling distant from yourself, right? Perhaps because of some of the energy that's here, you've been a little distracted, or maybe things have been your schedule may be off, or you may find it difficult to stick with the schedule that you've been on just because of the some of the chaotic energy that's been here right now. if you're not using your gifts in the way that you normally would or using them on a regular basis, you may find that you're feeling disconnected. But once you do use your gifts intentionally, you will discover that they have been upgraded. Okay, yes. So I'm seeing someone in the chat saying that's how I feel, but I've noticed other improvements too. Exactly. So it's like in some way you may feel disconnected. You may feel disconnected, but in other ways you are feeling upgraded, or you will discover upgrades once you reconnect, right? When you make the efforts to reconnect, right? Like once you tap in, you're like, oh, whoa, I'm really tapped in, right? So that is just, the energy that's here right now, okay? So though there may be chaos or a feeling of impending chaos, you know, there's this feeling of impending chaos, just like it is like when you're watching the news and they're like, oh, this hurricane is way out, it's way off the coast right now, but we're expecting it to make landfall soon, right? There's this feeling of impending doom. There's that same feeling just in the air in general right now. All the things that are happening politically, um, things that are happening that the conscious community is talking a lot about. We have to really be careful of what we tap into, of what we allow ourselves to listen to, what we buy into mentally and emotionally, because there's a lot of fear mongering going on. I do not like to listen to anything where people are talking about, oh, well, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. There's this big talking about, and I hate to use the word conspiracy because it automatically kind of brings up an image of, someone saying something that's totally untrue. And the word conspiracy does not mean that, what is happening, what's being described is untrue. When you hear somebody say conspiracy theory, that doesn't mean that, that's something that you automatically need to dismiss. But we're mentally trained to be dismissive of things that are considered conspiracy theories. Okay. But a lot of theories, there's some basis of truth there, but I don't like to listen to things where I'm just telling you this to scare the crap out of you. But I'm not going to give you any solutions. That's what I consider fear mongering, right? I don't tune in and tap in, buy into those things. Okay. So if someone's bringing up a problem, I like to listen to something where they're also bringing up the solution. Okay, so we got to be careful where we place our attention, allow our attention to be, because a lot of the messages that are out here are just intended to excite and to alarm, right? But it's not really necessarily helpful. Okay, so we want to be mindful and conscious of that. Okay, but there is this vibration of like impending doom or impending chaos in the air. Okay. And I'm going to give one of the less harmful examples, or less violent examples. So recently, a few weeks back, there was all the talk about, oh, there's going to be a second moon, right? The second moon, right? Okay, so turned out it's just like a little piece of an asteroid is what I found when I began to research it, right? That is like a piece of an asteroid that, could probably fit like in the average person's living room. Not a big thing, not anything visible. But there were lots of people saying, oh, this is going to unleash chaotic energy, and now, and even within days after, when it was, I think it was coming here, it was visible or entered our atmosphere like around the 28th of September. And now you hear nothing about it. Like, who's even talking about that? Who's even talking about it, right? But that's how these cycles go. News cycles, trends go. Oh, this terrible thing is about to happen. Be careful. Watch out. Look out. Look at my page, look at my channel. My page is the one that's going to save your life because this horrible thing is going to happen. Now, we don't we don't need that energy. We don't need that energy. That's fear mongering, right? So that's only designed to get your emotions riled up, right? We don't need to buy into that. It's not helpful. Okay. So I always suggest when things like that happen that you guys research it, and just you decide what you're going to get riled up about. Don't let somebody else decide for you. Okay. So, anyway, the next step that happens with a hurricane forming is the water that has evaporated, this evaporation, the moisture that's in the air, it rises and rises up to a level of the clouds, right? And there's also um, there's it rises and forms clouds, right? But in order to form clouds, these storm clouds, it has to condense, right? It has to cool down. Okay. So now this is a representation of a cooling of emotions, a cooling of emotions. Okay. So because water represents emotions, right? But we're talking now about air, right? Wind, this wind, okay? It gets picked up by wind and begins to cool in our atmosphere, okay? Now, wind is forceful air. Air in the tarot, y'all know I keep my granny blanket around, right? It's always cool in my house. I don't know what it is. It's always cool in here. Um, I do like it that way though. So, air in the tarot represents strategic thinking, words, thoughts, and truth. Okay? Words, thoughts, and truth. Welcome, Dabney. Welcome to the room. So, the wind or the air, this forceful air of the hurricanes, represents thoughts, words, strategic thinking, and truth. Okay? So think of the things that have happened, this year in 2024, even in the most recent months, where truth has been exposed. And initially, there's all this excitement like, oh my gosh, so and so, I can't believe so and so is really such a horrible person. This truth is exposed. And it's like, we know gossip carries a certain amount of excitement, right? And even though things come out that are, horrify us and disgust us, there's this little bitty, like behind that, the disgust. Let's be honest, there's excitement there, right? It's like, oh God, did you hear? Did you hear what happened? Right? And sometimes, even in your personal life, now this may sting a little bit, but if we're honest, even in our personal life, things can happen that's like, oh, this is so upsetting. I can't believe this is happening. This is bad news. I can't believe so and so did such and such. And you're, calling your friends or telling somebody. But even behind that, there's like a teeny percent of excitement. Excitement. Sometimes we can slightly enjoy a bit of drama in our lives, right? There's a part of us that enjoys having a little bit of drama going on. Things are shaken up, right? Why is that? Let's dig into that a little bit. Let's pull that thread. It's true, right? It's like something happens, even if it's a bad happening, you may be mad, it may piss you off, or it could be an inconvenience, but there's a part of you that enjoys talking about it, telling people about it, because we get sympathy, or if you're like me and have like a crooked sense of humor, you may joke about terrible things in your life. That's, I don't know, that's just me. Like, may joke about something like in the midst of a crisis. It's like, I know it's too soon, but I'm gonna joke anyway. I'm gonna laugh my way through this because that's just how I deal, right? But there's also you may, if something bad enough happens, there may be, you may be getting sympathy for whatever's happening, and it's, if sympathy or getting that type of attention is not a normal part of your daily life, that could be a little bit pleasurable, right? If we're being honest, right? So there is excitement even in chaos, right? There's this vibration of excitement, right? And when that cools off, what settles in is the aftermath of whatever the chaos is and whatever the new reality is, right? And at times that can leave you feeling a lot of different emotions, right? When the initial excitement of initial chaos cools down and we're left with the reality of whatever change has been created in your life, there can be a lot of emotions, right? Then sometimes it's then that the real storm begins because you now have to deal with the new reality, okay? Think about how many, I hate to bring this up, but it's like, it's so obvious, right? Think about how much music we're about to lose, how much good music we're about to lose because of a huge artist or producer that's been exposed recently, right? And all the names that are still coming up being, associated with this, right? I'm, hearing rumors that some of my favorite artists may be caught up in this scandal with Diddy. I hate to even say his name. I, over the past week, really literally unplugged and just decided like not to talk about it for the past week. So I'm like, let me just unplug from the drama myself, right? Let me take a little break. But some of my favorite artists may be caught up in this. I'm not happy about that. Look at some of the music we're going to lose. A lot of the music that we're going to lose, or that, like, people that's going to get canceled and be like, okay, it's not cool to listen to some of these people anymore. And then what does that mean so far as what's really in the background of our reality? For us to think that people that we once really enjoyed or thought of as big names, or some people, look up to or idolize um, certain celebrities, right? Or just the enjoyment of their music, right? This is forcing us to deal with or to face the dualistic nature of our reality, right? Because we're in our minds, we're struggling with, like, how could this person or that person's music or their acting or whatever, be really good? How can their energy just be so good? How can they produce energy that just feels like this and felt like such a high vibration? But in reality, look what was going on behind the scenes. If you're honest with yourself and if you're a deep thinker, you may question yourself, like, how was I able to enjoy that music? And this person is a whole demon out here, right? And it makes us question what is really behind all of the things that we see on the surface. What's really behind major things that shape our reality? It can really make you question, right? But such is the dualistic nature that we're here to experience in the earth realm. We are here to recognize, and if you think of it like a game, right? You're here to recognize and to experience and, like, collect all these different versions of self. okay, in hopes of unifying all these different versions of self. What do I mean? Well, I'm a reflection of you and you're a reflection of me. And we are all reflections of source. Good, good and bad. Right? The reflections that we would consider good and those that we would consider bad all stem from the source of all. That's why source energy is called source energy, because there's only one source of all these energies, right? And whether it's different versions of like me, Pangea, different iterations of myself that I've been in this incarnation, all the different ways in which I have presented, if I've grown from this version of myself to that version of myself to that version of myself, right? To include the versions of myself that I meet when I meet you, the versions of myself that I connect with when I connect with you, right? Because we're all just all these different versions of each other. And if and when, as we do now, I'm going to call this into existence and into the present moment, as we now realize how connected we all are and that we are all each other, even as we look at someone who we have previously otherized, right? And when I say otherize, I mean that we have made them, that group of people, they're so different and they're so bad and they're so this and they're so that, and they don't deserve the same whatever that we do, you know. That is a devil's mentality, is that someone else is less than you, right? The idea that someone else is less than you and deserves less than you and is less connected to source than you. When you look at someone else and you think that way, you're really thinking that way about yourself. You are thinking that if you don't show up this particular way, this acceptable way, that you are less than, that you are not worthy. We internalize those thoughts and those ways of being, right? Which manifests, which results in all this division, all this otherizing, and all this treating others as less than. Welcome, Marilyn. Right? So the idea, in order to ascend, in order to evolve, in order to return to source, in order to become one with source energy, we must see each other and all of these iterations of self as one. We must accept, we must realize and accept that we're all one. And what is the energy that allows for that expansion of thought, that expansion of emotion, the expansion into acceptance? That energy is love energy. That energy is love energy. Okay? So, you all, we're going to do visualization. We're going to use the remaining time to do a visualization. So, you all are encouraged to be in a space where you are away from others, where you're quiet and able to focus, able to concentrate, able to go within a peaceful environment that is most conducive to visualization. And I want to bring your attention to the truth that we are energy. We are all energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So at this moment, we want to begin to calm down, to shut down. I encourage you to, as you are in a safe space, to begin to close down your eyes. I want you to be certain that your spine is straight and that your chin is level to the floor for the best um, possible safe passage of your energy up your spine, free flowing energy. I want us to become aware of ourselves as energy, pure energy, and in so doing, acknowledge that we have the ability to connect our energy to the energy of the hurricanes that have happened this year, the hurricanes, the energy of the hurricanes that are forming and building as we speak. Sending love, love and peace, healing energy, the energy of repair to those who have lost, who have suffered loss in the physical hurricanes of this year. Acknowledgement for your loss. And let us begin some deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. In for a count of 4. Out for a count of 4. Let's breathe in for a count of 4. And out for a count of 4. Again, let's breathe in for a count of 4. And this time, let's breathe out for a count of 6. Emptying the lungs a little more than we breathed in, and in for a count of 4. And out for a count of 6. And this time, as we breathe in, I want you to picture the waves of water coming towards you. Breathe them in and blow them back out for a count of 6. Breathe the waves in for a count of 4. And out for a count of 6. Last time in for the count of 4, and hear the waves, the water rushing towards you. And out for a count of 6. As the waves come in this time, I want you to recognize the waves as yourself. And out. Breathing the waves out and recognize the waves as yourself. Breathing in, again, feel the waves rush over you. Recognizing the waves as an extension of yourself in your own emotion, breathing out. Say, return to the ocean, return to the sea where they are cleansed and rinsed and returned to you, breathing in. Recognizing the waters as an extension going out, an extension of self. As we breathe the waters in, everything that belongs to the earth belongs to you. As you breathe out, breathing out as we all become one, as we all recognize ourselves as part of each other, reflections of each other. And just allow your energy to expand and expand as that wave goes out. Continue your breathing as normal, and I want you to watch your energy float over the waves and expand out, expanding out, expanding out, expanding out. Allow your energy to expand out as far beyond your body as you can possibly withstand. Just allow the expansion of your energy to cover the seas of your mind. Allowing your energy to go out, 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 as far as the eye can see. Empty yourself, emptying yourself of any burdensome thoughts, any heavy thoughts and emotions, allowing yourself to become weightless, allowing yourself to become weightless. In this state of weightlessness, we recognize the beauty, the gorgeousness of allowing our energy to be suspended here as the many elements, the many life forms of the sea representing all of us who are here together in the earth realm, carrying each other as the ocean carries the waves. So we just allow ourselves to stay here in this state of total suspension. Let's just enjoy the weightlessness as we all carry one another. The beauty of the ocean is that one drop is the entire ocean. We have a choice every day of seeing ourselves as one drop or seeing ourselves as the entire ocean. Notice how expansive and how weightless it feels to become the ocean. this feeling of weightlessness, this feeling of expansion as far as the eye can see is what the human spirit craves. Hear the waves flowing in and out, in and out. This feeling of expansion as the ocean is expanding is what the human spirit craves. Constant expansion. Let's invite the sun in now. Let's invite the sun to touch our waves, to kiss our waves, to warm our waters. And let's allow the sun in at approximately 80 degrees. As we allow the sun in to warm us, we allow the density of the waters to begin to slightly evaporate at the surface. In the center of our ocean, we allow the waters to begin to evaporate and begin to rise into the atmosphere at approximately 80 degrees. As we allow our waters, our emotions, our energies to evaporate, to join and become a part of the expansiveness of the atmosphere, the expansiveness that is even more expansive than the oceans, our atmosphere to become part of the air. We allow ourselves to float. We allow ourselves to rise higher and higher. Allowing ourselves to become completely weightless. And to know that it is okay to enjoy. It is okay to enjoy the feeling of a oneness, of a unity, of a universality, to enjoy the vibration. The vibrations that are shared over the airwaves. It is crucial that we come to this place of enjoyment, of shared enjoyment. The enjoyment that is shared over the airwaves. This is where our souls meet other souls. In this space here of enjoyment, of heightened emotion. When we experience pleasant emotions, our natural desire is to share that with other souls. Allowing our vibration to rise and rise further into the atmosphere. We now begin to experience cooler currents, cooler currents of air, cooler currents of air that cause us to slightly contract, to slightly condense again and recollect again into material, into matter that is water again. And this is okay. It is the natural cycle of life. It is the natural cycle of life that we rise in a weightless state. We will experience warmth and we will experience coolness. It's the natural cycle of life. It does not mean that we were wrong. It does not mean that we were foolish. It doesn't mean that we were tricked forever, allowing ourselves to experience the goodness of the wave. I want you to allow yourself forgiveness for the times in your life where you rode the wave. Do not hold yourself in contempt or guilt or resentment for times in your life when you rode the wave. If there was a crash, if there was a condensation, if there was a recollection of yourself, of yourselves, afterwards do not resent the wave. So we allow our vibration to slightly cool as we slightly collect ourselves into droplets again and begin to experience winds of change. This too is a natural part of life. Winds of change. As new information comes to light, as we find ourselves in connection, becoming aware in connection with new facts, new ideas, coming in connection, into connection with new versions, different versions of ourselves, as a result of having experienced this rise, this rising and cooling. It's perfectly okay. It does not mean that we were wrong before to now step into change. There is now change. We're coming into a newer version of ourselves. It is perfectly okay to experience winds of change, winds that become chaotic. Winds that may be rocky, winds that may be noisy, winds that may even be scary at times as they are unfamiliar, they are uncertain. Allow yourself to feel these winds of change, experience these winds of change, and to know we have faced winds of change many times, and we have always survived. We have always survived. I want you to allow yourself to feel the energy of having survived winds of past changes. and know that you are safe even now as winds of change blow in your life, as winds of change blow over the nation. We are still safe as we are suspended in air here together, carrying one another, experiencing winds of change together. Even as we now, as droplets of water being blown by winds of change, as we descend together back down towards the earth, as we rush towards the earth, we recognize that there must be change and that we are the agents of change. As we see things in our universe, in our atmosphere, in our country, in our local communities that must change, as we see people being harmed, as we see life being devalued, we rush toward the earth in a flood of disruption, knowing that things must change and we are the agents of change. As the waters hit the earth and flood, in an act of righteous indignation, in an act that reflects anger over things that must change, things that must be set right, it is okay to allow those emotions. Allow the disruption. Allow the unearthing. Allow the destruction. This is a part of nature. This is a part of the cycle of life. As we allow ourselves to be the flood, as we allow ourselves to be the destruction, as we allow ourselves to be the change, as we allow the dark feminine energy to flow, to move, to unearth, to rearrange, to reset, it is necessary. It is necessary. As change happens quickly all around us, as the waters flow out, so do they recede. So do they recede. As the waters recede, as the waters return to the ocean, elements of life are disrupted. Elements of life lay still, yet they are in chaos. As we look around us after a storm, much of what was once erected is now leveled. There is a sense of sadness in the air. There is the sting of pain and there is the sting of destruction. And yet, beneath that, there is also newness. There is newness. There is freshness. There is a sense beneath destruction, beneath chaos, beneath sadness. There is a sense of hope. There is a fresh start. Let us now allow ourselves to experience the energy of the fresh start. Though there is work to do, there is again a recollection of ourselves. There is a recollection of elements of self. And those elements of self are made new by having allowed the possibility of loss. You see that moment in which we allowed the possibility of everything that we had and everything that we knew being destroyed. In that moment, we held ourselves. In that moment, we recollected the energy of self. In these moments, we delineate what is me and what are the things that I have collected. What is truly me and what is truly outside of me. The storm makes that fresh for us. The storm has allowed us to recenter and revision what is really important, what is really us, which is the energy. There is a sense of purity in the air after a storm. That sense of purity, that sense of centeredness. As we rebuild the structures that represent who we think we are, let us rebuild without recollecting things that do not matter, things that do not serve us. Let us rebuild using the elements of life that matter most. Family, friends, our dreams, and love. Finally, let us imagine ourselves again as part of the ocean on a beautiful sunny day. Peaceful. A day that is full of possibility, pure enjoyment, pure peace. Let us sense the rebalancing of life upon the ocean, the rebalancing of life within ourselves, and recognizing that we are safe again, as we always have been, as we always will be, because we are energy. As we sit with that realization, I welcome you to wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to slowly come back to your body. Slowly come back into the room. Rejoin us here on the channel. Thank you all for taking this journey with me tonight. I know this was quite different compared to what we normally do here, but I feel it was much, much needed. Thank you all for being a part of this experience. As more changes happen, more storms, be they physical, actual storms, actual hurricanes, be they political storms, be they emotional storms, know that you are safe because you are energy. Yes, you are so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. You are safe because you are energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. And we are all here just experiencing what we signed up to experience here in the earth realm. This illusion of being separate, this illusion of being one little raindrop, one little water drop, when we are in fact the ocean, right? So thank you all for being a part of this visualization. I could not have done it without you. I hope you all have a wonderful, peaceful night. For those who are watching a replay, have a wonderful, peaceful day, week, month. And join us again here next Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of Attracting Love Energy. I love you all. Peace and blessings to all.